All right. Good Nerv Shabbos. Now we'll talk something. Chappy Yiddish word, right? So today's Rosh Chodesh Menachem. So at work today, with the Yiddish kinder there, I said Hallel with them, said Musaf with them, then we sat down, we washed, ate a little bit of matzah, and I mostly told stories about the Bobover, because today is the Yartzeit of Bobover. So Chusi again Leinim Al Kli Yisrael. Such an incredible tzaddik, Bobover, Shlomo ben Tzia, so Chusi again Leinim, and also the Yartzeit of Aaron HaKohen ben Amram, of Aaron the high priest, the brother of Moses. And I mentioned today that at the funeral of the Bobover, his son mentioned that he was nifter on the Yartzeit of Aaron HaKohen, and he was Talmid of Shal Aaron HaKohen, Oyev Shalom, Rav Shalom, Oyev Zabrias and Mekarven L'Torah. Like the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, be of the disciples of Aaron, love peace and pursue peace, love creatures, love all people, and bring them close to Torah. And that's what he did. And he loved all people, and he loved all creatures. There's a beautiful picture of the Bobover sitting in a park bench, feeding birds with his hand. Beautiful picture. And he's there with his white socks, with his silver cane. It's a lovely, lovely picture. And he cared about all people, Jew and Gentile alike. There was an African-American non-Jewish painter in Borough Park named Jimmy. They said they saw him at Bobover's funeral crying, or another time he was painting someone's house, and they had pictures of different rabbanim on the wall, and he said, "Oh, is that your rabbi?" And they said, "Well, it should be your rabbi. That's my rabbi," Jimmy said. And he took out of his wallet a picture of Bobover. And the same story, he was there at the Bobover's Levaya crying. They asked him, "Jimmy, why are you crying?" He said, "What do you mean, why am I crying? I wouldn't be who I am today. He saved my life. If this rabbi, this is my whole life." So they said, he was painting the house, and the Rebbe and the daughters, they were maybe giving him a little hard time, a little bit perfectionist. And the Bobover called him over and he said, "Jimmy, let me tell you something, I know people are going to tell you, oh, I'm paying you good money, you better make it perfect." He said, ever since the temple was destroyed, there's nothing perfect in this world. He said, "You're not perfect, I'm not perfect, only God is perfect." He said, "You're doing a very good job. Don't worry about being perfect. Just keep doing a good job. Do your best. You're doing a very, very good job. And I'm going to tell all my friends to hire you." And so when the Bobover, he said, "Oh, you need someone to paint. You call Jimmy." He had a parnasa now. He had a means of making a living. So, so that's one story. I regret that I never got a chance to see the Bobover. I remember when I was in Ezra Academy, the Bobover was sick, and we were saying Tillim for him, and Rabbi Freilich Zilgazan said, we can't fool ourselves to think that the world runs by itself, whatever, we're standing on the shoulders of our Gedolim, and so he said Tehillim. I remember, very strong memory I have saying Tehillim for the Bobover of, and he used to daven in our shul. Rabbi Fishbein has a lot of stories about the Bobover Rebbe davening in our shul. In the summer, he stays at Chil Kurt's bungalow colony. He stayed there, and he would come up in the winter too. He would come up usually Shabbos Parshas Bereishis and a few other times in the winter. I remember, my regrets. I remember one time my mother telling me it was a Shabbos when it was like the last time I really didn't keep Shabbos, really. I was in a play in my public school, and I rode in the car to go to the play. I remember I walked when I could walk, and I couldn't walk anymore. I took a ride, whatever it was, but I wanted to be in this play. And I remember my mother telling me, Rabbi Fishbein called. There's a big rabbi is going to be there at shul. Rabbi Fishbein wants you to be there. I said, I have this play. What should I do? I didn't know who the rabbi was. So it's a big regret that I have. I don't know how much I would have appreciated it. It was Menachem, the first rabbi I ever met as my Rebbe, is the Kalover Rebbe. And the first Tish I ever went to was by the Berch Moshe, by Satmar Rebbe, who I was zeicher to go a few times to Tish and one time give a kvittel. And this past year on the Berch Moshe's Yartzeit, I wasn't going to go to the Tzion. I'd been there a few times in the Yartzeit, and for the Divrei Yol, I always moiser nefesh to go. If it's not on that day, the next day, whatever. Even when we lived in Virginia, we would come up special for that. And it's my plan this year to go, after work, to go down to Monroe for the Yartzeit. But the Berch Moshe, I could take it or leave it. But it was Menachem. I guess the Berch Moshe wanted me to be there. I had to pick up my daughter from school that day. My wife couldn't make it, so I was there by Berch Moshe this year on the Yartzeit, and more than once that I wasn't planning to be there, and I was there. And I would like to go to New Jersey today, but it's Erev Shabbos. I could have gone last night, but it's a schlep to go down to New Jersey. Maybe another time I'll go to New Jersey, go to the Bobover. I've been there a few times, Baruch Hashem. It was very nice, and I remember Reb Naftali, and I was there also. And so another story that I told was by us in the shul. It was, I wasn't there that time, but this story Rabbi Fishbein tells, in the winter we struggled a little bit to have a minyan, and Bobover Rebbe was there, and they were too short. And a father and a son, they came to, and they were marching the minyan Shabbos morning, and the Bobover Rebbe told them in English, he said, "You make me so happy." He said, in Borough Park in Brooklyn, I have thousands of people in the synagogue, but here, you make a minyan for me, you make me so happy. And this boy, he became a Baal Tshuva from that, The koyach of tzaddik, ein l'shayir, what does it mean when you have a tzaddik like this, like the Bobover of, And he was ready to give up the whole Rebbe Vista. It was what the Satmar Rav told him. He said, "No, the Glitziana, you need a Rebbe. You need to step up. You need to do the job," and he did it. And all right, these are some stories we could share. The special Yartzeit today, the Yartzeit of Aaron HaKohen, the Yartzeit of Bobover Rav. I heard that 500 Eden went to go daven by Aaron HaKohen today, and the Jordanian government wasn't too happy about it. you know, I mean, I'm not a Tzioni. People know that. I'm not a Zionist. But where's the Hakaras Hatov from the Jordanians? Where's the gratitude? Here, the Israelis let them have the Har Bayis, our holiest place, and they allow them to go. I don't know. But it is what it is. We're in Galus. 500 Eden were zeicha to be by Aaron Coin today, to daven for all of us. We should hear their tefillahs. And all right, I'd like to go to the Bobover. I'd like to go to Aaron Coin. I'd like to go to all these places. Aaron Coin is the only Yartzeit mentioned in the Torah. But the truth is, we, all the others we know by tradition, right? But what I'm going to say, the Satmar Rav used to say, if you go to a kever of a tzaddik and you don't learn their Torah, you go to Glattestein, you're just going to a smooth rock, you're not doing anything. But the other ways, it's also true. The Menachem brings that if you learn the Torah of a tzaddik, it's the same inyan. It's the Lakuta Ban Chanukah. It's the same inyan of going to daven at their kever. So like I remember Rabbi Weinberger said, you don't have to go to Ukraine. You don't have to go to the Galil. You don't have to go to the Interborough. There's tzaddikim buried by the Interborough also. You can go anywhere. You can be anywhere, and learn the Torahs of these tzaddikim. That's where they are. It's like the story Rabbi Fishbein tells that they were asking this. They were trying to bring this one Rav to be this one younger man to be Rav in a town, and they said, the chashivas of this town, this town, you should be. We need you to be Rav here. Why? He said, because the Ramah is buried here, and Rebbe Kiva Eger is buried here, and the Chassam Sofer is buried here. And they said, what do you mean? The Ramah is buried in Krakow, and the Chassam Sofer is buried in Pressburg, and the Rebbe Kiva Eger is. None of them are buried here. And they said, no. In those towns, those tzaddikim are alive. They're not buried. But here they're buried because nobody's learning. That's why you need a Rav, so they shouldn't be buried here anymore. All right, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good Shabbos. And look at the Kalaver Rebbe to what he wrote this week about how important it is to fight against what's going on in New York State. Please write letters to the government against these attacks on religious freedom that are going on. Read what he said. I translated. It's powerful stuff. Even if your type of yeshiva isn't attacked, we're Yachad Shivtei Yisrael. Beautiful what he wrote. All right, God bless. Have a good Shabbos. Please like, share, and subscribe. Come. We'll see you later.